So it's coming towards the end of September now, and the weather is definitely starting to change. It's really foggy out where I'm living at the moment, and it's almost 7 o'clock in the morning. It's still pretty good during the day, getting up to around about 26 degrees today, but definitely the evenings are getting colder. One of the things I really like about where I live is it's really close to the city, but it feels like we're out in the countryside. It's definitely a place which is fairly unique around here, so really sort of pleased and feel lucky to actually live here. Where we live has quite a few trees on it, mainly native species, so oaks and ash here, but they're doing all right. The hot weather seems to have affected them quite a bit, and hopefully they'll recover over winter. But really, really pleased to be able to walk around and just enjoy the quiet and the trees.
With each day that now passes, we're drawn closer to the frosty, biting days of winter. But before we're all drawn back into our warm homes, there's some work to be done.
I don't know about you, but I do feel like I'm getting a lot busier despite the season coming to an end. So I've been really busy over the last few weeks. I've finally managed to get down to my allotment and cleared that out. I'll be introducing you to my allotment fairly soon, but first I'm going to focus on the garden here at home. The weather has changed quite a lot, and we've received a huge amount of rain over the last few weeks, which has been great for the garden and absolutely wonderful for the grass, which is coming back to life finally. But it does mean a huge amount of weeds are now coming up, and I've been spending time trying to get on top of all of that. With the change in the weather as well and the cooler nights, we're starting to see a number of the plants dying off now that the seasons are about to change. So I've been trying to make sure that I'm on top of clearing out any plants that are coming to the end of their season and getting those into the compost. So there are a couple of things that you need to be thinking about when choosing what you want to grow for winter, and the first thing is how much light the plant will need. You can substitute light with grow lights, and I think I'll be doing some of that this winter in my garage. The other thing that really is important for them is temperature, and just making sure that you're able to keep them at a temperature that they will do okay with. Now, some plants will do really well in frost, like garlic and other plants, but most will really suffer. So if you've got a greenhouse or an area that you can put them where they'll keep warm, then that would be a great place to start them off and see if they'll grow. The alternative is to get something that will actually generate some heat, so a heated bed or a heated propagator, and see how they do through that route. So today I'm looking for a number of different plants I want to be sowing for the winter months, or at least the early winter months. And first one is lettuce. They tend to do pretty well. They do like the cool anyway, and really did suffer over the hot weather we had in summer. So the other plant I'm looking for at the moment is spinach, and that does pretty well in the cold as well. So we'll get those two going, and we'll see what else we have. We might have some carrots, and we also might have some radish as well. Radish does well this time of the year, not just because it can cope with the cold and the shorter days, but because it's really quick from when you actually put it into the ground and when it's ready for eating. So we've got a few weeks and months left until we get the really hard frost, so hopefully it will do pretty well.
I'm sowing these seeds into general purpose peat-free compost. The compost I'm using is reclaimed from other pots, and this is because I'm trying to be efficient at this time of the year. Seeds do not need any resources from the compost to start off, so you don't need to use anything too special. The only risk with using reclaimed compost is the risk of disease. This lettuce seed is relatively old, so I'm not really sure how many will germinate. Because of this, I'm going to be multi-sowing in each of the seed stations to try and make sure I get at least one in each. Multi-sowing also gives you the opportunity to take out some of the weaker ones and just be left with the ones with really strong growth. It's actually taken me quite a while to come to terms with thinning out plants, but it is definitely worth doing because you're left with the better plant in the end. Spinach seeds are larger than lettuce seeds, making them a lot easier to handle, but it's still worth trying to use multi-sowing techniques with these to make sure that you get a really good batch of strong plants to grow. I'm growing 2 seeds to each station, and again, hopefully this means I'll have a full set later on this year. Most seed packages will encourage you to cover each of the seeds with at least half a centimetre of soil. I'm going to be honest, I don't do that. I just give them a light sprinkling of soil and then make sure they're well watered. Over the years, I've tried many different techniques to try and get consistent germination through watering. The only technique that has really worked for me has been to allow the soil to soak up water from below. To do this, fill up a container with water and then place the seed trays into it. I'm going to sow the radishes inside the greenhouse. I made this bed earlier this year for the tomatoes and they'll be finished soon. So it's a really good time to start something new in that bed and use the greenhouse to extend the season a little bit longer. Another job that's really important this time of the year is getting on top of your weeding and clearing up. So I've been in my veg patch trying to keep on top of those things so that actually when it comes to time to put in the bed to sleep, I don't have a huge amount of work to do. One of my philosophies I'm trying to work to at the moment is a little and often. And that means that I don't want to be doing huge jobs, but I just want to keep on top of the ones that I do have and that are important. That way I don't get overwhelmed and hopefully I have a nice garden at the end of it. If you've got potatoes still in the ground or in the grow bags, it's probably time now to be cutting off the foliage from the potatoes themselves. That way any diseases that might be on the foliage are not going to be transported down into the ground and into your potatoes. The potatoes should be okay inside the soil for a good few months yet, so if you look after them now, they'll definitely be there for you when you need them over winter. This time of year the weeds are definitely picking up again because of the rain and relatively warm weather. So it's definitely something that you want to keep an eye on. And as you can see, got lots and lots of chickweed here. If that goes to seed, then it's going to be a nightmare trying to keep on top of it. So that's it for this week. I really hope you're enjoying the turning of the seasons and really embracing the cooler days, considering the heat we've had this year. There are plenty of things to be doing in the garden. I've just mentioned 2 of them today, but there are loads more there for you to be doing. So if you're interested, move over to my blog or my Facebook page and come along with my journey and see what I'm up to. If you do like these sort of videos, please like and subscribe. It really does help the channel out and I really do appreciate every single subscriber that I have. But that's it for now. Have a great week and I'll see you next time.